Alright, so we're going to talk about our painting today, alright? Now, to go along with your sculpture project, so when everything's said and done, you're going to turn in three different things. A two-dimensional sculpture, we know that. You're going to turn in a three-dimensional sculpture, and you're going to utilize that three-dimensional sculpture to make your painting that much easier. So rather than imagining what your creature looks like in three-dimensional space, you can just use that as a model, turn him, look him around, find the angle that you want your animal, and then be able to draw from that. So it'll make your drawing a lot easier. Don't spend too much time, but come up with a drawing. I just whipped something up real quick for a little sea creature thing. Okay? Come up with a sketch. Okay? Now this is why I said not to worry too much about the painting. It only needs to be that big. Super duper tiny. Okay? So like I said, don't stress yourself out. It's not that big of a piece of paper. Okay? So, figure out the sketch that you want. Okay? You can do it super detailed, you can do it nice, light, and sketchy, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And you're going to transfer to this paper. If you haven't done this kind of thing before, basically you're going to take your pencil, and on the back of your page you're going to go in multiple directions, adding graphite to the page. Okay? So when everything's said and done, you're going to have basically the back side of your paper is going to be all covered in pencil. Okay? Now there are two sides to this cardboard. Make sure that you do the lighter side, otherwise it's going to look all funky. Line up your picture on your board like such, and whenever you press down on the drawing, basically you're just going to outline your drawing once again. And when you do that, your drawing will transfer, much like if we were to use graphite paper or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick, just to get the head on. And voila, it transferred. Okay, you'll see. Pretty simplistic. Like I said, don't go super detailed, you don't need to. With paint, you're going to lose a lot of that fine detail, and you can go back and add it later with the paint brushes. We just want a generalized idea of where your creature is going to be on this page. Something else to make your life that much simpler, this painting is only going to be a monochromatic painting. Have you guys done monochromatic paintings before? Yay? Nay? Possibly? Fair enough. Monochromatic is basically you're only going to use one color. Now I don't care which color you choose. Okay? I have your primary set up, I have your secondary set up. These are all tempera paints. Okay? So they're going to mix in pretty quickly, they're going to go on pretty quick and dry pretty quick. Downside, keep them away from water. They are water soluble, so if you get your painting anywhere near water, it will run, it will bleed, it will look funky. But pick whatever color you want. That being said, when you pick a color, let's say we pick green, I like green. Pick green, stick to it. You can't mix and match. You're only going to use shades of green. The simplest way to do this, I have the white here, the black here. You can put it in your little tray. I have a couple of them set up. Do 3 black, 3 white. Notice that the black that you can see here, you don't need a whole lot of it. The black is going to be really, really potent, whereas the white is going to wash out more. What you can do, shake it up first, it's all nasty. This is old stuff. Take your color, in this case green, and just give a little blurb on top of it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Simple. You make a mess, I don't care, mix it up. Okay. Then you can go back, mix in your colors, you will get different shades of your color. Some darker, some lighter. Okay? What we're looking for is a gradient from pure dark to a pure white. Okay? If you're having trouble, this part is not mandatory. Okay? I'm going to stress that, not mandatory. If you are having trouble with your painting, you may choose, I have a couple of these pieces of paper here set aside. You can choose to do a quick value scale or a color scale, going from light to dark, and basically finding those middle tones so that you have something to look off of, so that whenever you're doing your project, you can go one at a time. You have a generalized idea of how to do that. You don't have to, though. I'm not making that mandatory. Okay? I would suggest for you, as you're going through and doing your painting, to start light and work dark. That being said, if you want to be a little crazy, you can go dark to light as well. It's going to be much easier if you go light to dark. So, I'm just going to take a little bit of this and add to it. Anything that I want to be this color, even if it will go darker, we want to make this tone, okay? So, I'm just going to spread this on real quick, give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, in class here in about 3 seconds, but just to give you an idea. You go back. As you start adding in more shades, I would suggest that you take a little bit of time. You can see it's not working out that well for me because it's blending. Take the time to let it dry on each shade that you do. Right? So you do one shade, let it dry, go switch over to the next value down, and go from there. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're almost in a pure black, and you can go back with that and add in a whole lot of nice detail with that pure black. Okay, so you get the idea. Like I said, it's mixing because it's so wet, so let your sides dry. It's only going to take about maybe 10 minutes to dry, so don't wig out. Temperature dries very quickly. Okay, so keep that all in mind. You can go take your seats. I have about a 3-second talk on the projector, okay? That's all. Thank you very much.